Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you, and let's get right on into it. All right, folks, I got another guest here for today. I got my brother, my other brother, Daryl, Chilmont.
Hi, I'm Larry. This is my brother, Daryl. That's my other brother, Daryl.
You know, I've got two brothers. One's Junebug, one's Chilmont. And I've told you about Walt. He's a golfer. He's out at Fairways and Greens and big-time golfer. And Wilmot, actually Chilmont here, went to the University of Tennessee, and he's probably, I don't know if he's a bigger fan than I am. Now, he gets as upset as I do, probably twice as bad, to the point sometimes he can't watch the game anymore because the refs always cheat us. He's one of those guys.
Always.
Yeah, the refs always cheat us guy. Everybody's got a buddy like that, or a brother. But anyway, he's going to be on the show here with us, and of course he knows all about the Vols and been following them forever. We might ought to tell you, should we tell the story of where Walt and you and I were down there in Florida with Doc?
Oh, yeah, 2001?
Yeah, we'll tell that story. They'll get a kick out of that.
We almost got beat up.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have to tell them about that. That was funny.
Because Junebug opened his big mouth on the way into the stadium going by Frat Row. That was not good.
No, that was brutal. That was hilarious.
That was.
It was a little bit off-putting.
It was classic Junebug.
Yeah, that was.
I said, shut up.
But anyway, look, the Florida fans are extremely worried, and they have reason to be concerned. All right, folks. Now, this is the fella from Hot Top Sports, and again, big-time Florida supporter, and of course, he covers them. But this is right after their game with South Florida, and where they almost got beat. This is actually a pretty good reaction video. It was right after the game. And look, he comes out right after the game and gives you the reaction, which if I was coming off a loss or we barely beat Akron, for example, I would be a lot more upset than he is. He handles himself pretty good. But let's watch this little clip here, and I'll give you an idea of what the Florida fans are feeling.
I don't know. I'm a little bit lost for words. I do say so myself. Look, I'm gonna have to sleep on it per usual. It's the fan in me, right? The fanatic. He wants to be pissed off and frustrated, like you typically as any fan would, right? Like you want to complain and you want to just be negative about it. We won, and I think that's the biggest thing we got to focus on, right? We've got to be ecstatic that we were able to pull that out. Maybe not ecstatic. That might be the best word, but look, we expect more. And I think that's where the frustration comes in. I think that's where all of us are a little bit frustrated. Obviously, I mean, we're 20-point favorites. But here's some things, right? Here's some things that we have to keep in mind. I saw a lot of young guys on the field, especially on the D-line.
All right, folks. Now, that's a YouTube content creator, like I said, and you can see the stress and concern and worry. And that's not the only person down in Florida. Everybody in Florida is worried, especially going into the game against UT. And they're coming to Neyland. It's Neyland, not Nayland. Everybody gets mad at me for saying Nayland. So it's Neyland. If I say Nayland, I take a bunch of grief. But anyway, here's an article that also discusses, look, all the Florida media is worried. And here's a article all about it. Florida Gators survive USF scare. Here are our takeaways. And they had 88,000 people there. We had 102, by the way. So
for the Akron Zips.
Yeah, for the Akron. The Fighting Possums. Give me a break. But anyway, they were a 24-point underdog, USF was, against Florida, and they had them beat. I'm telling you, they had them beat. They turned the ball over a bunch. And at the last tail end, and look, this is the beauty of them playing down there at the Swamp. That was so loud towards the end, and then the guy, hiked the ball low, not once but twice, including the field goal try. I mean, they were down there at like the 10-yard line. Next thing you know, they're kicking a 50-yard field goal, and the guy, again, it was a bad hike, and the guy almost made the kick, which would have been shocking from it was laying flat. But anyway, they're really worried. All right, so let's see. So Florida won the game, but like I say, they really struggled, no doubt. But yeah, you look here and you can see USF actually outgained the Florida Gators 402 to 329 in yards, but it was USF's turnovers kind of made the game a lot closer. I think they would have beat them.
Yeah, without those turnovers, there's no way they win.
Yep, and you can see where Florida actually ran the ball ran the ball pretty well. They've got a couple of good running backs. But, again, USF, their defense, their rush defense is like, I don't know, it's ranked like 100th in the country. So they're not going to have as much success against us rushing the ball. And they're also missing a key linebacker, this Ventrell Miller, who's really, really good. He's got a lower leg injury. I don't know if he's going to be available or not this coming weekend. But you can see here USF rolled up 274 yards of offense in the first half with 216 on the ground with a 9.8 yards per carry. So, I mean, they were having a lot of success rushing the ball. So that bodes well for us.
If we can get some run game established and then with our passing game the way it is, I don't know. We should be able to put up a bunch of points on them.
Yeah, it's one of those games where it feels like one of three things is going to happen. Either we're going to blow them out, or it's going to be a really tight game, and we'll either barely win or they'll barely win. I don't see them blowing us out at all. I don't see that happening. So especially when they're struggling with their offense the way they are and their quarterback play, which is very significant. So, we'll see about that. But I know, look, I get that everybody's worried going in this game. I understand that with battered Vols syndrome, which probably everybody in Knoxville has a case of it. And I've got a brother, not this one, but the other one, that's got the worst case of battered Vols syndrome in the world.
Yeah, he's stage 4 battered Vols syndrome.
Yeah, it's bad.
I think I'm stage 2 and you're stage 1. So
yeah, he's in the ICU on a regular basis over it.
He's on oxygen. So right now.
Oh, it's terrible. I call him Lydia.
I hate the guitar. I don't mind the clarinet or the saxophone, but I hate the guitar.
Yep. He likes the clarinet, but he hates the guitar. Yeah, he's so negative. So, but he goes to every game. Actually, just to give you an example, he was there at 8 a.m. to tailgate for the 7 p.m. Akron game. And that's what he does. He'll be there at probably 6 a.m. For the Florida game. But like I said, he'll be negative the whole time, but secretly he wants them to win so bad he can't stand it.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. College game day is now coming. They announced that. So all their crew will be there.
It's going to be.
And I'm one of them.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And I know that a lot of people right now are feeling like this with Florida coming into town. But what I think it's going to be is a lot more like this. Yeah, because we're going to win. We're going to win. We're favored by 10, by the way. Favored by 10. And
That's
I
crazy,
understand.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we're never favored over Florida.
No.
That's really rare. Almost 10 points.
When was the last time we've been favored by 2 touchdowns or 2 scores?
Well, not to Florida. That's
to Florida.
for sure.
It's been years.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I think this is – look, what we need to do is just whoop up on them, and I mean really whoop up on them and kind of put them in their place and let them know that there's a new sheriff in town. And that's the way it's going to be, and we need to get their attention right early, just like this.
That's an attention getter.
Yep, so we got to kick them in the butt and get their attention. And I think just let them know, look, it's, the days of pushing us around are over, and we're going to start pushing you around. And we're going to win 15 or 16 out of 17. And with our new coach and this new offense, you're in trouble, Florida. You just are. And understand this, all the recruits are seeing, look, did you see that stadium for Akron? 102,000, the fireworks going off and all this stuff. It was unbelievable.
I think even Heupel was surprised.
Shocked.
He was stunned after the game. He said it was like, I can't believe we sold out for Akron.
Yeah, 102,000 people for Akron. He's never seen that, I promise you. And if you're the head coach, how good does that make you feel?
Oh, yeah.
And he just got himself a nice raise. He's going to get another one after this 9-3 season that we're going to have. So I'm fired up about it. And I know that, some of you are going to be like, oh, don't be overconfident. No, this is our year. We're going to win. And I'm not going into this negative. I've decided I'm going in positive because I have every reason to feel good about the Vols right now. And Florida, look, if they had a great quarterback that they were very confident in who hadn't thrown 4 interceptions in the last 2 games, and those 4 interceptions were bad, okay? There's one thing, if you throw an interception, it hits the guy in the hands, pops up, and the guy catches it for the other team. That's an interception that a lot of guys have, and it's not their fault. When you're throwing it directly to the guy, give me a break.
Yeah.
that's a bad interception. He's had about 4 of those.
He hits
Okay,
him in the chest.
and they're usually there's never a good time to throw an interception, but it happens at the worst times. And we've had quarterbacks like that. You never can win a big game that way. So they've got a QB problem, and I'm assuming we're going to be facing Anthony Richardson, don't you think?
I think so. If he sputters, they could pull him at some point.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another quarterback. If he struggles,
If he's making miscues and making turnovers, that would not surprise me at all if they took him out and put somebody else in. If they've got anybody.
Look, it's Florida. They've got some 4-stars back there waiting to
They're
go.
bound to.
But I can tell you this: they must not be overwhelmingly better, especially in practice. Otherwise they would be playing.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. All right, now I'm going to tell you the story about me and my 2 brothers and my dad going down to Florida. This was in
2001.
2001. We actually won that game, didn't we?
And it was delayed that year because of 9/11.
Oh,
if you
crap.
remember.
Crap,
It
yeah.
was not played till November
Okay.
because
All
it's
right.
normally in September. It's normally like the 3rd game.
Yep, and we all went down there, and that was the old ball coach, didn't
Yeah.
it? That was Spurrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spurrier, and they were good that year. They were real good, and so were we, and we had Fulmer. And
We were not supposed to win.
no, we weren't. They were very confident at the Swamp. We went down there, and what were we? Tell the story. We were walking by the frat house.
Well, where we parked, we had to walk like a mile to the stadium. The 4 of us were walking along, and somehow we went by, looked like Fraternity Row there.
It was.
And the previous week, had they gotten beaten by Auburn?
No, I think it was Ole Miss had beaten
Okay,
them.
it was somebody like that, and
Or they beat them earlier in the year.
one guy was standing, and there was like 2 guys standing there.
They were on a porch.
They were on a porch,
Yeah.
and it was just 2 guys. But one of them said, "Oh, we're going to whoop your butt today," or something like that. And,
Yeah, they were giving us grief.
and then Junebug, he said, "Well, you sure didn't whip Mississippi State's butt, did you?" 10 guys materialized out of the ground and started cussing us like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it was you didn't see anybody except those 2 guys, and boom, 10 guys. We're gonna get.
Oh yeah, they started yelling, screaming, throwing beer cans at us.
And I went to,
it was
I went
classic.
To Junebug, I said, "Shut up! You're gonna get us beat up here before we even get to the game."
Yeah, and we got there, and we got in the game, and there was a guy right behind us that was thank goodness he was a Tennessee fan. I mean, I've never in my life heard anybody
if he was
yell.
Not a Tennessee fan, I'd
have had to leave.
Well, I'd have slugged him.
Yeah. Well, we had to put paper in our ears just to give you a example of how loud this guy was yelling. But the entire time he was yelling one word, and it was defense. And that went on the first quarter, and we thought this guy will never make it to the second quarter, yelling that loud, defense, every time that Florida had the ball.
Yeah. And you couldn't argue with him because he was on our side.
No,
So,
we were laughing because it was so loud.
I said, "There's no way he makes it to the second half. No way."
Yeah, fourth quarter, he's as strong as he was in the first quarter.
I think he was stronger.
It was unbelievable. Like I said, we all put paper in our ears because he was that loud. But like I said, he was rooting for our team, so more power to him. But it was incredible. The guys.
But hey, he pulled us through.
Oh yeah, we won the game.
It was a huge win.
Yep.
I think that was Travis Henry ran for well over 200 yards or something.
It was something. That's when Spurrier said they ran over us, they ran through us, they ran around us. We had a great season and we won nothing, which is so typical of Spurrier to just tell it like it is.
Yeah.
And that was a great game. We did run over them. We just kept running the ball, and they could not stop us.
Yeah.
And we went.
And that was for the first win in 6, 7 years.
It'd been a while. That was a big win too, because
they had our number for a
well,
long
we won
time.
the SEC that year, and didn't we get beat by? No, we didn't get beat by Auburn in the playoff.
Was it LSU?
Oh, it might have been that guy that kept running. But anyway, that was a great
championship
game.
We lost.
Yeah.
It seemed like to somebody I can't remember.
That was a great game. We could have won the national title that year.
Yeah.
But I feel great about this ball game. Now let's talk about the Vols a little bit. Now we got a couple of injuries. I haven't seen an update on it. It doesn't appear that they're going to be serious injuries, but we won't know for a couple of more days. And that's Tillman and Jabari. So we'll see how that plays out. I think Dylan also got nicked up a little bit. Hopefully they'll all be able to go Saturday. I'm still mad about Akron going after our knees and our quarterback's knees.
Yeah.
I'm still ticked off about that. That was ridiculous. I mean, that's just, I can't take it.
Okay.
All right. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Anthony Richardson. Now, if you've watched him play over the last couple of games, it's been rough. All right, folks, now let's look at these numbers for Anthony Richardson. He was 10 for 18. There's his 2 interceptions. He's still not had a touchdown this year. Okay, well, he did have a touchdown. Kentucky defensive player scored a touchdown on an interception, so I guess that counts. His QBR, look, his QBR's improved over last week. It's 11.6. Last week it was 3.8, I believe, which I'd never seen one under 10. But he's at 11. So
that's only slightly better than me, and I don't play quarterback.
I was getting ready to say, man, that's a struggle, and it's hard to win a ball game when your quarterback's throwing 10 for 18 with 2 interceptions. That's just very hard to win that game. Yep, and they had 2 interceptions, and I think they had a fumble or 2 too.
Yeah.
Let's look at their rushing. They rushed the ball pretty well. They had 217 yards, Florida did. But look at South Florida's rushing, 286. That bodes well for Tennessee because, as you know, our run sets up the pass. So I find that very interesting.
Yeah, if we can get them looking at the run, the passing game will take care of itself for us.
So, like I say, USF, they had a field day running the ball against Florida. Again, I'm pleased about that. That makes me feel good about our rushing attack. Now, hopefully, we'll be at full strength at running back. But you know what? I think if at least 2 of them can go without too much trouble, whether it's Dylan and or Jalen Wright.
Jalen Wright.
Yeah, and if Jalen Wright's good to go, which he should be fine, I think we'll be fine on the rushing. Now, realize Florida's got a good defense. I don't understand how they got that many yards. Basically, I think the quarterback was doing a lot of that run option pass deal, and he was running the ball on them pretty well. Okay. And of course, we can do that also. And that seems to be when Hendon Hooker gets going. Once he's had a rush or 2 and gets hit, all of a sudden he starts throwing the ball much better and winds up having an A-plus type game. Yeah, and Florida, look, Florida's got a good defense. I think they'll do everything they can to stop our run. We've got to stop their run. That's the biggest thing. And I felt great about our game against Akron. I think Akron had 35 yards rushing, and that made me feel really good about our defensive line and our linebacker play. That was outstanding.
Well, Kentucky gave us everybody the blueprint for beating Florida, and you just stop the run, and you make them throw, and then Richardson makes mistakes, and hopefully that'll continue.
Yeah, well, like I say, imagine what it's going to be like at Neyland Stadium. I mean, it's going to be unbelievably loud every play. I mean, he's going to have pressure on him that, look, their 3 games have been at the Swamp. And they could have lost all 3 of those games. Had they been at neutral sites or they had been away, they would have lost all 3 of those games. In the Utah game, Utah screwed up inside the 10-yard line twice because of the crowd. And they didn't score but maybe a field goal those 2 times. And that's not going to happen had that been at Utah. Then they go and Kentucky beats them at the Swamp, and then they darn near get beat by USF at the Swamp. And that's a game where that guy probably doesn't hike the ball low had he not had the crowd screaming at him and they couldn't hear because it took forever to get the play off because it was so loud.
I couldn't hear the snap count.
Nope. So you've got some problems there that the Swamp creates that they're not going to have that in this game. They could easily be 0-3 right now, and they'd be screaming for Billy Napier. So I feel real good about this game. I think 10 points is right. Well, all right, folks, that's our first show on the Gators, and believe me, I'm going to be doing many shows on the Gators this week. We're going to whoop up on them. I'm so excited about this team, I almost can't stand it. I know my bro here is super fired up about them.
They're just fun to watch. It's the offense is so fast and so prolific. It's really great to watch. It's just fun.
When's the last time you felt this good about the Vols?
I can't remember. It's been 20 years of disappointment. That's why we have that.
Probably back when Fulmer was here, maybe.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the Fulmer years and probably the last time we beat Florida.
Then before that,
was in 03.
Before that, you have to go back to majors.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's and let me tell you something. If you're worried and you suffer from battered Vol syndrome, let me tell you something. The Gator fans, they're really worried. If you're worried, you have no idea how worried they are. It's 10 times worse than you think, and I think that's going to play a role. I don't think their players are confident coming into this game. They didn't look too confident against South Florida, did they?
No, and 24-point favorite, and they barely pull it out.
Look, had it not been for the Swamp, they wouldn't have pulled it out.
No. We are 2-0 down in the Swamp. We've been there twice. We went into 2001 for the defense game.
Yeah.
And then in 2003, we went back and the four of us and had a ball, but we're 2-0 down there, and that's a hard place to play.
Yeah, the Swamp is brutal. It really is. But let me tell you something. This Neyland Stadium
ain't going to be near as hard as Neyland will be.
Neyland's going to be brutal. They're lucky it's not at a 7 o'clock game, or it would be even more brutal. But at 3:30, don't you worry. The Vols in Knoxville are going to be they're going to be so fired up it's going to be ridiculous. We might have to calm everybody down.
Yep.
I'm a little worried about everybody over there. So
Booker's going to have to be doing this a lot probably out there.
That's right.
Over center.
Yeah, everybody just let me call the plays.
Yeah, calm down.
All right, folks. Well, all right. Well, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover the Vols. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. I just started a couple months ago. I could use some subscribers. Could help me out. Anyway, I hope you did like the content. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.